Welcome to the deep dive.
Great to be here.
So, today, we're plunging headfirst into something.
Yeah.
Well, something that feels both ancient and totally modern. Why are we, so completely hooked by deception, by betrayal, especially when it's, just a game?
It's a great question. That fascination runs deep.
It really does. We've all been there, right?
Yep.
Glued to the TV, gasping when someone tells a huge lie, or feeling that sting when trust just shatters, even though it's strangers. And wow, one show in the last few years has just mastered this. It started big in the UK, and now it's everywhere.
Absolutely. And that's what we're doing today, a proper deep dive into this pop culture sensation that's really, I think, shaken up reality TV, the Traitors.
Yes.
Our mission here isn't just to talk about the twists or, the amazing outfits, so we could.
Oh, we could.
We really want to get underneath it, understand its impact. We've pulled together a whole stack of interesting stuff for you, articles looking at how it's changed reality TV, some quite serious science on what lying actually does to our brains.
Fascinating stuff.
And even what fans are saying online. The real hardcore analysis. We want to figure out not just why the Traitors is so addictive, but what it tells us about ourselves, the viewers, and definitely the players stuck in that crazy game.
Exactly that. And look, if you haven't fallen down the Traitors rabbit hole yet, well, let's just quickly set the scene. Picture this. A grand castle, very atmospheric. A bunch of strangers all aiming for a big cash prize. Life-changing money. But, and here's the kicker, hidden among them are a few traitors, working in secret. At night, they murder one of the faithfuls.
Right, classic setup.
And the faithfuls, they have no idea who to trust. They've got to figure out who the traitors are and vote them out before they all get eliminated. It's exploded. Became a massive talking point in the UK, and now, boom, it's global. It really gets under your skin.
It's more than just getting under your skin, though. I'd say it's actually recalibrating what reality TV can even do. It's been quite something to watch its rise.
Okay, so let's unpack that. How is the Traitors actually reshaping things? Because, let's be honest, reality TV felt a bit stuck for a while there, didn't it?
It really did, yeah.
Our sources were pointing out that shows like, say, Love Island, All Stars, or even recent Apprentice seasons, they just weren't landing with the same kind of genuine buzz.
Yeah.
Felt a bit predictable, maybe a bit tired.
You've hit the nail on the head. The Traitors landed like a breath of fresh air, really. Refreshingly genuine is how one source put it, in a landscape that, felt stale. Think about those shows that used to be huge, Made in Chelsea, 2i, even Big Brother.
Yeah, the classics.
They still have fans, of course, but there's this feeling their golden years are maybe behind them. The formats rely on a certain kind of drama, often, let's face it, manufactured, or people just wanting social media fame. Got a bit samey. The Traitors was just different. It felt new, authentic somehow, even though it's literally built on lies. And the stakes felt incredibly high. That contrast, that freshness, I think that's key to why it blew up so fast and why it's sticking around. People were hungry for something with a bit more substance, maybe? More psychological depth?
And the viewing figures back that up, don't they? I mean, the numbers are wild.
They really are.
That 2025 live launch for the UK show, 9.2 million viewers. That's up 3 million from the year before. That kind of jump is massive these days, especially with so much competition.
Almost unheard of. It shows they've found or maybe engineered a formula that just clicks with a huge audience and keeps pulling new people in.
So what is that formula? Part of it has to be the unpredictability, right?
Oh, absolutely. That's maybe the biggest part. Unlike those older shows where you can kind of guess who'll couple up or who'll mess up the business task, the Traitors all about the psychology. The human interaction under extreme pressure. You start with 20 people. You don't know who the traitors are. Our sources point out there are basically infinite ways the game can play out.
Infinite possibility.
Exactly. That keeps everyone, players and viewers, completely hooked. You just never know what's next. Claudia Winkleman, the UK host, she nailed it when she said, "The absolute star of the show is the game itself."
That's a great quote.
It's not about forced storylines. It's about the strategy, the raw human moments, the shifting sands of trust and betrayal. That genuine uncertainty is its magic power.
And here's something else that feels really key and maybe points to what audiences want now. Think about typical reality TV casting. Lots of people chasing fame. Followers, right?
Yeah, the influencer pipeline.
Yeah. But the Traitors seems to have deliberately swerved that. The producers have done an amazing job casting, as our sources say, diverse but also distinctly normal people. They actually seem to want to play the game, not just get screen time. That feels important.
It's absolutely crucial. It's why the show feels so relatable, why it hits so hard emotionally. The ordinariness of the players makes the show what it is.
Right.
It makes it more appealing, more authentic for us watching. We see ourselves, maybe our neighbors or colleagues, in these people. When someone normal is grappling with telling a massive lie or feels that stab of betrayal, it lands way harder than watching a celebrity go through the motions.
Definitely.
It allows for a different kind of drama, internal, psychological, properly human, not just performative. Look at Alexander from season 3 UK. Former diplomat, right? Seemed quite low-key.
Yeah, I remember him.
But through the show, and honestly, the fan love online, he became this national treasure, even a Sweet Prince heartthrob. That kind of organic elevation of someone genuinely interesting, not just conventionally famous, says so much. Maybe audiences are tired of the manufactured celeb drama and want something realer. Even inside a game, it's like the deception highlights the truth of their reactions.
That relatability is huge.
Mm.
But also, think about how often we complain that reality shows are swayed by Twitter, the cliched complaint.
Oh, yeah.
Like on Love Island, if fans hate someone, poof, they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
Or the storyline suddenly changes. The Traitors feels like it resists that. And that's so refreshing.
It does resist it, and that's a massive strength. It maintains the integrity of the game. Think about it. Other shows have definitely suffered trying to please the loudest voices online or react to voting. I'm a Celeb. Still gets big numbers, sure, peaking at 8 million live for one first episode recently.
Right.
But it still deals with boycotts, backlash over controversial castings, Nigel Farage, Matt Hancock. People were genuinely switching off because of who was cast.
Yeah, big news.
The Traitors, though, it's mostly pre-recorded. It keeps its earnestness. The story is driven by the game, not daily polls. This means players can unapologetically indulge their desire for drama, mess, and betrayal because that's literally the point of the game. And those are feelings, as our sources note, that we, the audience, can totally relate to, even if we can't act on them in our own lives outside this sort of murder mystery game context.
Right.
The show basically says, it's okay, enjoy the chaos, the moral tightropes, the tension. It doesn't tell us how to feel about the players. It's a safe space to watch it all unfold.
So pulling it all together, the unpredictability, the normal players, not bowing to public pressure, what does this mean for reality TV going forward? It sounds like The Traitors isn't just a hit. It's genuinely carving a new path, changing the landscape globally.
I think it is. It seems to get what people want right now. Something relatable, but also total escapism. Maybe other shows are losing that touch.
You've summed it up perfectly. It's found this magic balance. You've got the grand castle, the melodrama, Claudia Winkleman's amazing campness, all the theater.
But underneath, it's still strikingly down to earth. That mix of high-concept game and grounded, real human drama is just working incredibly well. It understands what we want from light entertainment reality right now. Escape, yes, but with emotional stakes that feel real because the people feel real. This isn't just a flash in the pan. It feels like a real shift, prioritizing psychology and authentic reactions over manufactured celeb stuff. It's basically a blueprint.
Okay, so it's clear The Traitors has hit a nerve, changing things up. But let's get into the nuts and bolts for anyone who hasn't watched, or even for the superfans. What makes the actual gameplay so compelling? At its heart, it's basically mafia, right? But like on steroids.
Absolutely, yeah. Understanding that core mafia idea is key. You've got 20 players. They're all there to win this big cash prize that builds up through challenges. But hidden in the group are a few, maybe 2 or 3 secret traitors.
The villains. Or heroes, depending on your view.
Exactly. Their job, secretly eliminate the faithfuls, the majority,
Right.
without getting caught. The faithfuls, meanwhile, have to figure out who the traitors are and vote them out at the round table each day.
The banishment. High drama.
Always.
Right.
And the tension is constant, because if only faithfuls are left at the end, they share the money. But, and this is the crucial twist, if any traitors make it to the final group, undetected, they take everything.
Oof.
Brutal. It creates this incredibly intense, almost paranoid dynamic. Constant suspicion, alliances forming and breaking, desperate pleas, shocking betrayals. Every single conversation, every look, every vote feels loaded.
And it's not just that core mechanic. The producers seem to love throwing spanners in the works, don't they?
Yeah.
Deliberately adding twists meant to psychologically torture the participants.
Yeah.
You almost feel bad enjoying it.
You do, but you can't look away. And yeah, that's a huge part of its genius. A big chunk of why we enjoy it, as the sources say, comes from seeing souls crushed through broken trust.
Right.
We get this vicarious thrill from the psychological warfare. The producers aren't just setting up a game. They're crafting this intense emotional roller coaster designed to push people to their limits. And the twists aren't random, they're strategic. designed to create chaos, sow more distrust, force really tough moral choices.
Like what kind of twists?
Well, maybe a dilemma challenge. Add money to the pot OR, get a secret clue about someone. Or a faithful gets a secret task that makes them look super shady to everyone else.
Oh, that's cruel.
It is, but it means the game never settles. Players can't get comfortable. A twist is always lurking, ready to mess up strategies, test loyalties, expose secrets. Keeps everyone, players, and us at home totally on edge.
It's definitely immersive.
Yeah.
And the whole aesthetic contributes too, right?
Yeah.
The setting, the hosts, it all adds to the drama.
Hugely important. It's not just background dressing. The Grand Castle, Slane Castle in Ireland, that Scottish one for UK use, it instantly creates this mood of mystery, gothic intrigue. You feel like you're in a movie.
Yeah, very cinematic.
And the hosts, they lean into the theatricality, the campness, the suspense. Alan Cumming in the US with his fabulous Highland costumes, just brilliant, so over the top.
He's amazing.
Siobhan McSweeney in Ireland, she's got this hilarious and cutting warmth, great outfits too, grounds it with wit. And Claudia Winkleman in the UK, the queen of infinite supply of campness, the dramatic pauses. She navigates the emotions perfectly with empathy, but also that little glint of mischief.
They're definitely part of the show's character.
Essential characters, they add personality, entertainment, and that necessary touch of theater that just pulls you deeper in.
But okay, even with all this brilliance,
Mm-hmm.
I've seen some chatter online, like on Reddit, about how broken the core gameplay is. What's that about? It seems pretty solid to me.
It's an interesting point, yeah, and it comes up a lot among the real game theory nerds. The argument is basically this. Voting out an early traitor feels amazing, right? Like they've run the World Cup, as players sometimes say.
Totally satisfying.
But it doesn't actually mean the faithfuls are closer to winning the money. Because if a traitor gets banished, the remaining traitors, or sometimes the host, can just recruit a faithful to join them.
Ah, right. So the numbers might not even change.
Exactly. Or they could even go up. So for some viewers, this makes each roundtable feel a bit less impactful, less strategic investment. Because catching one traitor doesn't guarantee progress towards the ultimate goal. It can feel a bit like pushing a boulder uphill.
Like, what's the point if they just replace them?
Kind of, yeah. If you spend days cleverly outing one traitor and another one pops up overnight, it can feel disheartening. Some fans argue it reduces the weight of each banishment. It's a tricky balance for the show, keeping the tension high versus making the faithful's actions feel meaningful long-term.
That makes sense. What about the challenges then? Sometimes, I have to admit, I get a bit restless during those parts.
Yeah.
Just want to back at the round table. Do other fans feel that?
Oh, definitely a mixed bag there. It's a common discussion point.
Yeah.
The challenges do add something. They build the prize pot. You get to see people under pressure. But yeah, some viewers admit they happily skip them if they feel too separate from the main psychological game. If it's just a physical task that doesn't reveal anything about who's lying or who trusts whom, it can feel like filler.
Like, just killing time.
But when the challenges are cleverly embedded in the core gameplay, like those funeral challenges where players might have to publicly choose who gets murdered next, or where doing badly makes you look suspicious, those are usually seen as much better.
Because they feed the paranoia.
Exactly. They create real social dilemmas, force public decisions, fuel the suspicion, and the roundtable chat. So it's all about integration. If the challenge doesn't connect back to the deception and detection, it loses some appeal for the hardcore fans.
It sounds like the real hardcore fans notice everything, even tiny production details. Like how recruitment or murder letters are handled differently in, say, the UK versus Australia.
Yeah.
Does that stuff actually matter?
Oh, they notice everything. And yes, those subtle differences can definitely impact the suspense and the vibe. For instance, recruitment. In the UK, sometimes the recruit gets taken out of the castle, maybe to a hotel, reads the letter, then the other traitors find out.
Bit clunky.
It can seem that way. It takes ages, apparently, like well over 90 minutes, which makes fans wonder, wait, what if they were already in PJs? It kind of breaks the magic a tiny bit, highlights the filming logistics.
Huh.
Whereas the Aussie or NZ versions might handle it more smoothly, maybe within the castle quicker. Same with murder letters. The AU version might slip it under the door, but we're never shown them reading it. Leaves it to our imagination.
More mysterious.
Yeah. Other versions might show the reaction, amplifying the personal drama. These little variations in how suspense is built, how info is revealed, how the magic of the game is kept up, fans love comparing them. It shows how every single production choice matters for keeping you hooked.
Wow. This show really messes with your head, doesn't it? As a viewer, and I can't even imagine being a contestant. Okay, let's totally switch gears. Let's get into the science behind all this. Because the Traitors is fundamentally about lies, right? Deception. Is lying just a human thing? Or is it deeper?
It's fascinating, and no, it's absolutely not just human. Lying, or deception more broadly, is a complex neural process, and we see it all over the animal kingdom.
Really? Like what?
Well, sources mention frogs deliberately lowering their voices to sound bigger, more intimidating, to scare off rivals.
No way. A lying frog.
Yep. Or think about drongos, these clever birds in the Kalahari. They actually mimic the alarm calls of other animals, like meerkats.
Why?
To trick them, make them think a predator's coming, so they run and hide, abandoning their food.
Right.
And the drongo swoops in and steals it. Pure deception.
That's amazing. Okay, so animals do it too, but we humans, we're pretty good at it, aren't we?
We are, you could say, seasoned professionals. We've evolved this capacity for really complex strategic deception, which is why watching it play out in the Traitors, all the intricate lies and misdirection, it feels so captivating, so human.
When we tell a lie, especially a big one, what's actually happening up there in our brains?
There are immediate, measurable effects. Brain scans, fMRIs show increased activity in the frontal parietal cortex. That's the part doing the heavy lifting sensory stuff, decision-making, planning, holding the lie together in your working memory.
Your brain's working overtime.
Exactly. At the same time, your amygdala key for emotions like fear, guilt, anxiety often kicks in, producing that negative feeling associated with guilt.
The sweaty palms feeling.
That's part of it. That initial discomfort is why lying feels stressful for most people. It can even trigger the release of cortisol, the stress hormone. It's this internal battle. Your thinking brain managing the lie, your emotional brain reacting to the morality of it.
So if it feels bad, if it's stressful, why do we do it? Why do the Traitors go through all that stress? What's the payoff?
Crucial question. Fundamentally, we lie to manipulate those around us to get what we want. Simple as that, really.
Like what?
Could be anything. Monetary gain, huge motivator in the game, obviously. Or to win the favor of someone we want to impress, to protect ourselves, avoid a punishment.
Right.
And here's where the brain's reward system comes in. Getting away with a lie, especially a tricky one, actually activates the brain's reward system and releases adrenaline. It feels exciting, a bit powerful.
The thrill of getting away with it.
Precisely. That rush reinforces the behavior, makes you more likely to try it again. And there's a social angle, too, really relevant to the show. Lies that benefit a group, like your fellow Traitors, can release oxytocin, the bonding hormone.
So lying together makes them feel closer.
Weirdly, yes. It makes them feel closer to those we have lied to help or protect. That shared secret, that us against them mentality, creates this incredibly strong, if morally murky, bond among the Traitors.
That sounds like a really slippery slope. If you keep lying, does it actually change your brain? Does it get easier? Less guilt?
It really seems like it can. This is where the science gets quite compelling, maybe a bit unsettling. Research strongly suggests the more you lie, the more effortless lying becomes.
Wow.
It's not just psychological, there seem to be actual brain changes. Studies looking at brain activity during lying show that with repetition, the emotional response, particularly in the amygdala, tends to decrease. That initial negative feeling of guilt starts to fade.
You get desensitized?
Exactly. Plus, the chronic stress from lying, the cortisol, might even potentially damage the amygdala over time, further lessening the feeling of guilt. The brain essentially gets rewired, like forming a habit. The pathways for lying become smoother, less emotionally taxing, especially if the lies work, if they lead to rewards and go unpunished.
So it literally becomes easier.
It seems so. And there's intriguing research on pathological liars, people who lie compulsively. They've been found to have more white matter in the brain.
White matter.
Yeah, it's involved in communication between brain regions, decision-making, moral reasoning. Now, the big question is that extra white matter a cause of the lying? Or an effect? Does the brain structure make lying easier, or does constant lying change the brain structure? Bit of a chicken and egg situation researchers are still figuring out.
That's wild. So if lying can become effortless, even rewarding, why aren't we all just, terrible, pathological liars manipulating everyone? What stops most of us from going full traitor in real life?
That's the crucial safety net, isn't it? And thankfully, most people don't become fraudsters or constantly deceive their families. Most of us stick to small lies, infrequently white lies, maybe.
Yeah, social fibs.
What seems to hold us back, primarily, is our desire to see ourselves as moral and upstanding members of society. We're fundamentally social animals. We need connection, cooperation. We understand deep down that our bonds with other people are fragile and trust is precious.
We don't want to break those bonds.
Exactly. And the key inhibitor is empathy. Our ability to feel for others, to imagine the pain our lies might cause that stops us from causing pain to those around us. That's the big difference compared to, say, psychopaths, who often lack this moral judgment and can lie very easily without the guilt or stress. So our empathy, our social needs, our self-image, they all act as powerful brakes.
Okay, that science is fascinating. Now let's tie it back directly to the Traitors.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we, the audience, so hooked on watching this whole deception game unfold? Is it just that we get to watch people do the things we wouldn't dare?
That's definitely a huge part of it, yeah. We love to watch it play out on our TV screens, maybe because we like to live vicariously through the show and see people tell the lies that we would not dare to tell in our own lives.
A safe way to experience the thrill.
Exactly. A psychologically safe space to engage with the danger, the moral questions without any real risk to ourselves. And sources suggest we often have this dual desire watching it. On one hand, you're rooting for the faithfuls. You want the traitors caught. You want justice to play out.
Yeah, find the liar.
But there's also that sneaky, perverse thrill of being in on the secret. You know who the traitors are. And sometimes you find yourself almost wanting them to succeed, admiring their cunning.
Guilty. Sometimes you do.
Right. That constant push and pull, that moral ambiguity for us as viewers, it keeps us incredibly invested. Emotionally, mentally, we're right there with them.
It's like the show gives us permission to enjoy those darker impulses, doesn't it? The drama, the messiness, the betrayal. Stuff we really shouldn't indulge in normally, but it's fine on TV. It's like a release.
Perfectly put. It taps into those universal desires for drama, mess, and betrayal that are, less socially acceptable to indulge in outside the parameters of a murder mystery game. That relatability, even of the darker stuff, is key. It lets us explore these facets of human nature safely. And this craving for drama, for clear heroes and villains, often leads to those fun-to-hate pantomime villains emerging, like Paul from one of the UK seasons. Remember him?
Oh, everyone remembers Paul.
Exactly. Characters who just embrace being a traitor, play it to the hilt. They become essential. They give the audience someone clear to focus on, to root against, maybe even secretly admire their audacity. It lets us enjoy the treachery from afar.
Okay, but thinking about the science again.
Nah.
How lying can rewire the brain, become effortless, less guilt-ridden with reward. What kind of psychological toll does this game take on the actual contestants, especially the traitors, lying day in, day out? It must be intense.
It's a really interesting and maybe slightly disturbing connection to make. The game itself, with producers deliberately keeping things spicy with twists meant to psychologically torture the participants. It almost perfectly mirrors the science of stress and adrenaline in lying.
Yeah.
For the traitors, the reward is huge, that cash prize. And crucially, inside the game bubble, there are no real immediate consequences for their lives. No jail time, no losing their actual friends back home, usually.
Right, it's contained.
This combination, big reward, constant lying, few immediate real-world repercussions, could absolutely speed up that brain rewiring process we talked about. It might make lying genuinely feel more effortless, less guilt-inducing for them as the game goes on. They're basically in this intense, short-term experiment designed to test and maybe even change their relationship with dishonesty.
That's quite a thought. A temporary rewiring.
It's powerful stuff. And you see the strain on them, the mental and emotional toll it takes. It's like watching neuroscience play out in real time.
Yeah, you really do. But the show also creates this massive online buzz, doesn't it? Fans get so invested. Reddit threads, Dreamcasts, analyzing confessional counts.
Oh, the engagement is incredible.
But sometimes that passion spills over into something negative, right? Blurring the lines between the game and the person.
It absolutely can, and that's the really worrying side of it. While the passionate analysis is great, shows how much people care, there's a dark side. Sources pointed to the irrational hate for Charlotte in Season 3 UK.
Oh yeah, they got bad.
She was just playing the game, playing the traitor role effectively. But people online, especially places like TikTok, were calling her awful things, a witch, thing vile. The attacks got personal.
Just for playing the game she signed up for.
Exactly. And the big concern, voiced by former players too, is that the hate went beyond the game itself. It wasn't about strategy anymore. It was personal abuse. It shows a real failure by some viewers to separate the game persona from the actual human being.
That's rough. I mean, the whole point of this show is lies and betrayal. It needs people to be traitors. It highlights the need for, I don't know, digital empathy.
That's a great way to put it. This kind of backlash really underlines why viewers need to be more mindful online. It's crucial for the contestants' mental health and just for basic decency to remember. The Traitors is a game built on deception, treachery, backstabbing, betrayal, secrecy, and trickery. That's the recipe.
That's what makes it good.
Right. If someone gets so emotionally charged over a traitor being traitorous, you have to wonder if they're maybe the right audience for the show. The game requires that behavior for entertainment. Confusing gameplay with real-world character can seriously harm the participants who are just regular people going through something extraordinary. We can love the drama, but we have to remember the humanity. #, global reach, and future implications.
So, looking bigger picture now, this isn't just a UK thing or a US thing. The Traitors has properly gone global, hasn't it? Versions popping up everywhere.
Oh, completely global. It's been astonishing to watch. It started in the Netherlands, Traitors, and now UK, US, Ireland, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, France, Spain, loads more.
Wow.
And streaming platforms like Peacock are putting multiple versions up, US, UK, Australia, letting people compare. And it's interesting, some fans argue certain international versions are arguably even better than others, maybe because of casting, the host, specific twists.
Everyone has their favorite.
Exactly. But the fact that the core format works everywhere, with different hosts like Siobhan McSweeney in Ireland or Alan Cumming in the US adding their own spice, it just proves how robust and universally appealing the basic idea is. That psychological game of trust and betrayal, it hits home across cultures.
And the format itself seems to be evolving still. I saw talk about a civilian season for the US version on NBC, moving away from celebrities.
Yeah, that's a really interesting move. The civilian season, or normie season, as fans call it, it feels like a deliberate step back towards that principle we talked about, the ordinariness of the players.
Back to basics?
Kind of. Moving away from just celebrity casts reinforces that idea that casting distinctly normal people makes it more authentic, more relatable for the wider audience, and fans are already cooking up ideas for future twists on Reddit.
Like what?
Well, one idea floating around is a scenario where Faithful knows someone is a traitor but can't really do anything about it. Maybe they're silenced by a twist or made a secret pact.
Oh, the agony.
Yeah.
Knowing the truth but being unable to act.
Imagine watching the traitor operate freely. That kind of meta-level awareness within the game could add whole new layers of psychological torture and strategy. It shows the format has legs, it can keep innovating and stay fresh for years.
So when we look at the Traitors' legacy, pulling it all together, what's the big takeaway? It feels like more than just another reality show.
Definitely more than a trend. It's become a benchmark. Ultimately, you've got the grand castle, the melodrama, the campness, all the fun stuff. But underneath, it's still strikingly down to earth.
That paradox again.
Yeah. And that unique mix makes it both relatable and perhaps crucially escapist. It just gets what people want from light entertainment right now. A thrilling ride, an exploration of our own psychology, but one where the stakes feel real because the people feel real. By focusing on those universal human things, drama, trust, the fascination with lying, it's absolutely reshaping the landscape of British reality TV and continuing its global takeover. It's a masterclass in psychological game design. #outro.
That sums it up perfectly. This deep dive really showed how the Traitors hooks us. It's this compelling game of lies mixed with real, relatable human drama. And it unintentionally shines this massive spotlight on the psychology of lying, trust, betrayal, all wrapped up in this package that's both incredibly down-to-earth and total fantasy escapism. Brilliant television, really, and such a window into us.
And that leaves us with a final thought for you, our listener, to mull over. Given everything we've talked about, how our brains react to lying, the stress, the rewards, the potential for it to become easier, and how addictive we find watching it, especially in a safe game context, what does our collective obsession with shows like The Traitors actually say about our own everyday moral compasses? What does it reveal about the little lies, or maybe the bigger ones that we tell ourselves or tell others, maybe for much smaller stakes, just navigating our own lives? It's definitely something to think about long after the last traitor gets banished.
Absolutely. A great thought to end on. And with that, we wrap up another deep dive. Thanks so much for joining us on this pretty engrossing journey into deception, drama, and a very weird and wonderful human mind.
Thanks for having me.
Until next time.